Take a slow breath. Let it move through your chest, through your stomach, all the way down to your toes. Feel it travel through every place inside you that has been tight for too long. Now, be honest with yourself. How many times have you whispered these words? I've tried everything. I've done the affirmations, the meditations, the forgiveness work, and yet I still hurt. If you have ever said that, you are not alone. So many beautiful souls begin the journey of healing, only to find themselves circling the same pain, wondering what they're doing wrong. But I want you to know you are not failing, you are awakening. The pain that remains is not a punishment, it's a message. And when you understand that message, healing begins to unfold in ways you never thought possible. Every illness, every ache, every wound in our lives begins with a thought, a belief. And while we often try to change the body, the diet, the medicine, the routine, we forget the place where true transformation starts, in the mind. So today we will look gently at the truth, not to blame, not to shame, but to understand. Because when you understand, you can choose differently, and choice is the beginning of freedom. You may still be in pain for one simple reason. You have been trying to heal yourself from the outside in instead of the inside out. You have been treating the symptom but ignoring the story. You have been trying to change your life while still believing you don't deserve a better one. The body listens to every word you think. The cells respond to every belief you repeat. If the words you say to yourself are still filled with fear, guilt, or self-criticism, your body cannot relax enough to repair itself. Healing is not an act of control, it is an act of surrender. So if you are still hurting, here is the truth. It is not because you are broken, weak, or doing it wrong. It is because a part of you still believes that pain is safer than peace. You learned long ago that love could hurt, that safety could vanish, that approval could be taken away. And somewhere deep inside, your mind decided, if I stay small, if I stay hurt, maybe I'll stay safe. But that belief is no longer serving you. The first reason you're still in pain is you have not yet believed that healing is possible for you. You may believe it for others, for the woman who wrote the book, for the friend whose cancer disappeared, but not for yourself. Until you accept that you are worthy of healing, the body will keep asking for your attention through pain. The second reason is you are still punishing yourself for the past. You carry guilt, shame, regret like invisible weights. You tell yourself you should have known better, you should have left sooner, you should have done more, but guilt never heals, it only repeats the wound. Forgive yourself. You did not fail. You learned, you survived, the only way you knew how. The third reason is you haven't fully listened to your body. Pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Every symptom is a conversation your body is trying to have with your mind. The headache that arrives after criticism, the stomach that knots in fear, the fatigue that follows resentment. These are not random. They are the body's way of saying, please, stop hurting me with your thoughts. The fourth reason you're still in pain is you have mistaken busyness for healing. You read every book, take every course, fill every silence with more doing. But healing does not happen when the mind is loud. It happens in stillness, in the quiet moment, when you finally stop running from yourself. The fifth reason is you have not yet made peace with your past. Louise said, "We are all victims of victims. Those who hurt you were also in pain." That doesn't excuse what they did, but it explains it. And when you see that, forgiveness becomes possible. Not to let them off the hook, but to set yourself free from the story that keeps replaying. The sixth reason is you still look for love outside yourself. You keep waiting for someone else to make you feel worthy, safe, or whole. But no one can fill a cup you refuse to hold. When you begin to love yourself even a little, the world begins to mirror that love back to you. And the seventh reason you're still in pain is you've forgotten how powerful you are. You think healing is beyond your reach, that it requires something you don't have. But the same power that grew your bones, that beats your heart, that breathes your lungs, that power is still within you. It has not left. It is simply waiting for your permission. Healing begins the moment you stop asking, why am I still in pain? And start asking, what is this pain trying to teach me? Every sensation is a messenger. Every ache is a request for love. So if you are ready to begin again, truly begin, take one more deep breath, place your hand over your heart, and say softly, I am willing to listen to my body. I am willing to forgive myself. I am willing to release the past. I am willing to love myself exactly as I am. That willingness opens the door. And through that door, healing begins to walk toward you. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are awakening to your own power, the same power that has been patiently waiting for you to remember. You were never meant to live in pain. You were meant to live in peace. Every healing journey begins with a thought. Before the body repairs, before circumstances change, before the heart feels light again, there must come a single idea that says, maybe it can be different for me. Until that thought is accepted, no medicine, no method, no teacher can truly help. Belief is the foundation of all transformation. For what the mind accepts, the body obeys. You may have seen miracles happen for others. You have read the stories, watched the recoveries, and said to yourself, how wonderful for them. And yet somewhere inside, a quiet voice whispered, but not for me. That whisper has more power than you realize. It tells every cell, do not open. It tells the heart, do not hope. It tells life itself, do not enter. Healing cannot come where it is not welcome. Deep within, many carry a silent belief that they are unworthy of peace. This belief was not born from truth, it was learned through pain. Perhaps someone once made you feel small, ashamed, or invisible. Perhaps you were taught that love must be earned, or that joy must be justified. The mind took those lessons and built walls around the heart, thinking they would keep you safe. But those walls have also kept out healing. Every thought we think creates a chemical response in the body. Loving thoughts nourish, fearful thoughts constrict. The thought I can heal sends light through the bloodstream, relaxing the muscles and steadying the breath. The thought I am beyond help tightens the body and drains its vitality. The body is not your enemy, it is your servant. It listens to the stories you tell about yourself. If those stories are filled with doubt, the body cannot find rest. Belief is the soil in which healing grows. Imagine planting a seed in the ground, but then doubting it will sprout. You dig it up, water it half-heartedly, and walk away before the sun can touch it. That is how most people approach healing. They plant a thought of love, but smother it with disbelief. The soil of the mind must be tended daily with gentle faith. You do not need to see immediate results. You need only to trust that life knows how to grow what you have planted. Sometimes the belief in unworthiness hides so deeply that you cannot hear it clearly. It appears as what I call the hidden no. The words you speak say, I want to heal, but somewhere underneath, another voice says, no, it's not safe to change. This hidden no may come from fear of the unknown. What will life be without this pain? It may come from guilt. I do not deserve to feel better. It may come from habit. The body and mind have simply forgotten what ease feels like. The way to dissolve this hidden no is not by force, but through willingness. Even a small yes begins to change everything. You might not yet believe you can be healed, but can you be willing to believe it? Can you whisper, I am open to the idea that healing is possible for me? That single thought is enough to open the first window in a room long closed. Air enters, light enters, and the energy of life begins to stir. Affirmations are not magic formulas, they are gentle reminders of truth. Their power lies not in perfection, but in sincerity. When you say, I am open to the idea that healing is possible for me, you are not pretending, you are declaring a willingness to cooperate with life. You are inviting the intelligence that keeps your heart beating to extend that same care to every part of you. Belief precedes manifestation. This is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law. Every visible experience begins as an invisible pattern in the mind. The thought must come first, and the form follows naturally. When you align your thoughts with peace, the body's chemistry adjusts to match that peace. When you align your thoughts with love, your relationships and circumstances begin to mirror that love. The mind leads and life follows. Begin with a simple visualization. Close your eyes and see yourself at ease. See your body strong, relaxed, and radiant. See yourself smiling softly, walking lightly, speaking kindly. Do not imagine perfection, imagine peace. Picture a light glowing within you, expanding with each breath. It shines through your skin, filling every cell with warmth. This is not fantasy, this is communication. You are showing your body what harmony looks like, and the body responds to that vision. You may feel resistance at first. Old thoughts will rise. This is foolish. It will never happen. I've tried before. That is all right. Let those thoughts come and go like passing clouds. They are remnants of an old belief system that no longer fits who you are becoming. You are not here to fight your doubt. You are here to love it into silence. Remember, belief does not require evidence. Evidence arrives after belief. You believed the sun would rise long before you understood astronomy. You can believe in your healing long before you understand how it will unfold. Faith is the bridge between the seen and the unseen. When you walk upon it, life meets you halfway. If your mind insists on proof, begin with small signs. Notice how your body softens when you speak kindly to yourself. Notice how your energy shifts when you imagine feeling safe. Each gentle change is proof that the mind directs the body. Healing is not something that will happen one day. It is happening in every loving thought you choose right now. Do not look for perfection in your belief. You do not need to wake tomorrow with absolute certainty. You need only to keep planting small seeds of possibility. Say often, I am willing to believe that healing is possible for me. Say it when you wake. Say it when you feel pain. Say it when fear tries to argue. Each repetition is a brush stroke painting a new picture of your life. When the mind finally accepts this truth, the body sighs with relief. It no longer has to hold the weight of disbelief. The heart begins to beat in rhythm with hope again. The cells begin to move toward renewal. The energy that was once locked in pain becomes available for joy, creativity, and love. Healing does not wait for the future. It begins the moment you choose a new thought. Right now, as you read these words, you can place your hand over your heart and whisper, I am willing to believe it can happen for me. Feel the warmth of your hand, the steadiness of your heartbeat. That is life saying, I am with you. Let that thought settle deep into your being. It is your permission slip to the universe. The moment you believe even faintly that healing belongs to you, everything in creation begins to respond. The same power that grows trees and lifts the tide moves within you. You are not outside of life's grace. You are part of it. Say it once more, softly but with conviction, I am willing to believe it can happen for me. That single thought is the seed from which all healing grows. So many of us carry pain that has nothing to do with what is happening right now. It belongs to the past, old mistakes, old choices, old moments when we did not know better. Yet even though those days are gone, we keep them alive through guilt. Guilt is the mind's way of keeping the wound open, as if by suffering long enough we might finally earn forgiveness. But guilt never heals anything. It only repeats the hurt in new disguises. Somewhere along the way, we learned that pain equals penance, that if we suffer enough, we might prove ourselves good again. As children, many of us were taught that love could be withdrawn, that approval must be earned, and that mistakes made us unworthy. Those lessons became laws in our subconscious mind. When I do wrong, I must hurt. If I feel joy after making a mistake, I am selfish. These thoughts are not truths, and I said, they are inherited misunderstandings, and as long as they remain unquestioned, they turn every healing into a battlefield. The body cannot heal while it is being condemned by the mind. Listens to every thought you think. When you say, I am so stupid, the body tightens as if struck. When you say, I forgive myself, it releases, grateful to be freed from judgment. Each thought you hold about yourself either nourishes or depletes the life force within you. Guilt strangles that force. Compassion revives it. I often remind people, you did not fail, you learned. You survived the only way you knew how. Every choice you made was born of the consciousness you had at that moment. If you could have done better, you would have. No one improves by punishment. We improve by understanding. Self-forgiveness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It says, I recognize that I was doing my best, and I choose to bless that version of myself instead of condemning her. Think of how you speak to a child who has spilled milk or fallen down. You do not say how clumsy you are. You say, it's all right, darling, let's clean it up together. You guide, you comfort, you teach with love. Now imagine offering that same kindness to yourself. When you speak gently to your own heart, it begins to open. It starts to trust that healing is safe. Many people mistake guilt for responsibility. They believe that to be responsible means to feel bad, but true responsibility means learning from the experience, not reliving it. When you keep punishing yourself, you stay stuck in the past. When you forgive yourself, you carry its lesson into the present. Guilt freezes growth. Forgiveness allows it to bloom. Notice how guilt shows up in your life. It may wear many disguises: overworking, perfectionism, denying yourself rest or pleasure. It might whisper, you haven't done enough yet, or you don't deserve to be happy. These are forms of self-punishment. They keep you small so that you never have to face your own power. But love is not interested in your smallness. It is interested in your wholeness. The gentle truth is this: you have already been forgiven by life. Life holds no grudges. The sun does not refuse to shine on you because you made a mistake yesterday. The flowers do not close themselves because you once spoke unkindly. Only the human mind clings to judgment. The universe knows only renewal. Each sunrise is an invitation to begin again. Try this simple affirmation: I release the need to punish myself. Say it slowly, letting the words sink in. Notice if the mind protests. It may say, but I did something terrible. Answer softly, yes, and I am learning to love the part of me that did not know better. Self-forgiveness is not denial, it is understanding. You are not excusing harm, you are choosing not to harm yourself further. Another helpful exercise is mirror work. Stand before your reflection and look into your own eyes. At first, you may see sadness or resistance. That is all right. Keep looking until you find even the smallest flicker of recognition. Then say gently, I did the best I could with what I knew then. Repeat it until your body begins to relax. You may cry. Let the tears come. They are proof that the heart is softening. When you forgive yourself, the body responds immediately. The tension that has been held for years begins to release. The breath deepens, the stomach unclenches, the shoulders drop. The nervous system finally receives the message. We are safe now. This is not imagination, it is physiology. The chemistry of guilt and the chemistry of peace cannot coexist. When one enters, the other leaves. There is a part of you that has been waiting to hear your forgiveness. It is the younger you, the one who tried, failed, and carried the shame ever since. She is not your enemy. She is your child. She does not need judgment. She needs love. Close your eyes and imagine her standing before you. She may look frightened or ashamed. Kneel beside her. Take her face in your hands and say, "It's all right. You did not know. I forgive you. I love you." Feel her shoulders ease. Feel your own heart open. This is the healing that guilt could never bring. You cannot change the past, but you can change how you relate to it. You can turn each regret into a lesson, each sorrow into wisdom. Say to yourself, that experience was painful, but it helped me awaken. It taught me compassion. When you see your past through this lens, nothing was wasted. Every mistake becomes a teacher. Every wound becomes an opening for light. Forgiveness is not a single act. It is a daily practice. Each time an old memory rises, bless it instead of fearing it. Whisper, "Thank you for reminding me how far I've come." Each time guilt tries to creep in, meet it with gentleness. Say, "I no longer need you to make me good." Over time, the mind learns a new rhythm, the rhythm of grace. Remember, guilt never corrects the past. It only poisons the present. It is not proof of goodness. It is proof of misunderstanding. Release it, and you will find that life is eager to fill that empty space with peace. The body will begin to respond in kind, and that's one. Where there was tightness, there will be breath. Where there was heaviness, there will be lightness. Where there was pain, there will be rest. Before you sleep tonight, look into your mirror once more. Smile gently at your reflection. Say, "I forgive you. You have suffered long enough. It is safe to be free now." Breathe deeply and let those words sink in. The forgiveness you offer yourself tonight will travel through your dreams, mending what guilt once divided. When you wake tomorrow, notice how the world feels a little softer. The air moves differently. The light seems kinder. This is what happens when you stop punishing yourself. The universe mirrors your mercy. And the healing that could not reach you through guilt will finally find you through grace. Your body has been speaking to you since the day you were born. Every ache, every flutter, every tension, every breath, it is all communication. The body is not silent, it is eloquent. It whispers through sensations, it sings through energy, and when we ignore its gentleness, it raises its voice in pain. Pain is not punishment. It is the body's way of saying, "Please listen, I am trying to help you." We have been taught to silence the body, to treat it as something separate or mechanical. We drug it, scold it, push it beyond its limits, and then wonder why it protests. The truth is that your body is your closest friend. It has never left you, not even for a moment. It breathes for you when you sleep. It heals your wounds without being asked. It beats your heart through every joy and sorrow. All it ever wanted was your partnership, your respect, your love. The body is the instrument through which your thoughts play. Every thought strikes a chord, and the melody it produces is felt as sensation. A loving thought brings harmony. A fearful thought creates discord. When the mind repeats criticism, the body tightens to defend itself. When the mind speaks words of approval, the body opens like a flower. You can feel this instantly. Think of something you love deeply and notice how your body softens. Think of something you dread and notice how it contracts. Your body is always listening. Pain, fatigue, tension, these are not enemies to fight, but messages to understand. A headache might be the voice of self-criticism saying, enough. A sore throat might be the ache of unspoken truth. A stiff neck might whisper, you are resisting a new point of view. The body does not use words, so it speaks through feeling. Once you learn its language, you will realize that it has been trying to protect you all along. Most people react to pain with fear. They think something is wrong, but I invite you to think instead, something is asking for love. When you change your approach from fear to love, the body begins to relax, and healing can finally take place. The moment you stop fighting your pain and start listening to it, the message begins to dissolve. The body no longer needs to shout once it has been heard. You can begin this relationship again, right now. Place your hand gently on the part of your body that feels tense or uncomfortable. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath and whisper softly, I am listening and I love you. Do not try. To change the sensation, simply be present with it. Feel your breath moving through that area as if it were carrying light. You may feel warmth, tingling, or emotion rising. These are signs that communication has begun. I have witnessed countless people transform their health by changing how they speak to their bodies. A woman who had chronic stomach pain discovered that her body was reacting to years of suppressed fear. Each time she felt the ache, she would breathe and say, it's safe for me to relax now. In time, the pain subsided completely. The stomach had not been broken, it had simply been asking for reassurance. Another man who suffered from back pain realized he was carrying the emotional weight of everyone around him. When he began to affirm, I am supported by life, and allowed himself to say no when he meant no, the pain eased. The body listens to truth. When the mind begins to honor its own needs, the body no longer has to carry the burden of unspoken feelings. The relationship between your mind and body is sacred. They are not separate entities, they are partners in creation. The mind imagines, the body expresses. The mind resists, the body tenses. The mind forgives, the body releases. Healing happens when they remember they are on the same side. Listen without judgment. Do not label sensations as good or bad. Simply observe. If your shoulders are tight, ask, what am I holding on to? If your heart feels heavy, ask, what sadness wants to be acknowledged? The answers may not come as words. They may come as tears, memories, or a quiet sense of knowing. Trust what arises. The body speaks the truth softly. Every time you ignore or silence your body, it has to speak louder to get your attention. But when you make listening a daily habit, it no longer needs to create crises to communicate. The conversation becomes gentle. The body becomes a trusted companion rather than a battlefield. Make this a daily ritual. Each morning or evening, find a quiet place to sit. Close your eyes, place one hand on your heart and one on your abdomen, and breathe slowly. Ask, dear body, how are you feeling today? Then wait. You might feel warmth in one area, tightness in another, or perhaps nothing at all. That's all right. The act of asking is enough to build trust. The body is like a child. When it realizes you are listening, it begins to speak. You will notice that the more you listen, the more gratitude arises. You begin to see the body not as flawed, but as miraculous. You marvel at how faithfully it has served you despite years of neglect or criticism. You start to thank your legs for carrying you, your hands for holding life, your lungs for filling you with air. This gratitude heals in ways medicine alone cannot. Appreciation tells the body, I see you, I love you, we are in this together. The law of response is simple. What is loved thrives. Once your body feels loved and heard, it no longer needs to manifest pain to ask for attention. The ache subsides, the breath deepens, the fatigue lifts. You discover that much of what you call sickness was simply a request for love. When that love is given, the body returns to its natural state of balance. There is no part of you that is your enemy. Every cell longs to serve your highest good. Even illness can be understood as a form of devotion. The body saying, I will hold this pain until you are ready to feel it consciously. When you finally meet that pain with awareness, the body sighs, thank you, and lets go. So, dear one, let us no longer fear the messages of the body. Let us listen with kindness, curiosity, and reverence. Say often, my body and I are on the same side. I am willing to listen to the wisdom within me. I love you, body. Thank you for everything you do. Each time you speak these words, the distance between your mind and body disappears. You become whole again, not because you have fixed anything, but because you have remembered your unity. And in that unity, healing becomes not an effort, but a natural response to love. There is a subtle trap many seekers fall into, the belief that if they just do enough, read enough, practice enough, they will finally heal. But true healing does not arise from constant activity. It blossoms in stillness. The mind loves motion. It believes progress comes from effort. But the heart heals in quiet. The spirit restores itself not through striving, but through surrender. I have met countless beautiful souls who exhaust themselves in the name of self-improvement. They attend every workshop, repeat hundreds of affirmations, meditate with clenched jaws as though peace could be earned by persistence. They believe that rest is laziness and stillness is stagnation. Yet beneath their dedication lies fear, the fear that if they stop, everything will fall apart. But healing does not come through control, it comes through trust. Busyness is often the ego's disguise for resistance. It keeps you running in circles so that you never have to be still enough to feel. The fearful mind says, if I keep working on myself, I won't have to face what's underneath. But what lies underneath is not a monster. It is simply your own heart waiting for your attention. The illusion of busyness can be comforting. It gives us the sense that we are doing something about our pain. But often the doing becomes a distraction from the very stillness that would reveal what needs to be released. Healing is not something you achieve, it is something you allow. The river of life flows naturally once you stop damming it with effort. The body too understands this truth. When you rest, your body repairs. When you sleep deeply, the cells regenerate, the heart slows, the nervous system recalibrates. You do not need to control these miracles. They happen through the intelligence of life itself. The same principle applies to emotional and spiritual healing. The more you relax, the easier life can restore your balance. Stillness is not emptiness, it is fullness unmasked. In the quiet moments when you stop running, you will begin to sense a deep well of peace beneath all the noise. This peace is your true self. It does not need to be earned or proven. It has been there all along, patiently waiting for your return. Ask yourself gently, am I healing or am I performing healing? The first feels like softness. The second feels like strain. The first brings peace. The second brings exhaustion. When you find yourself rushing from one practice to another, pause. Place your hand on your heart and whisper, I do not need to fix myself to love myself. Feel how the body relaxes instantly. That is the beginning of real healing. It can be frightening to slow down. When silence comes, the mind's chatter becomes louder at first. Old emotions rise, memories resurface, unfinished stories ask to be seen. But this is not regression, it is revelation. The quiet is not your enemy, it is your teacher. It shows you what has been hiding beneath the surface so that love can finally reach it. The heart cannot heal when it is drowned in noise. True transformation requires the courage to pause, to let life speak through the stillness. Sit quietly for a few moments each day. You do not need to do anything special. Close your eyes, breathe softly, and place a hand over your heart. Feel the rhythm of life moving within you. That pulse is the sound of creation itself. It has been guiding you since the beginning. As you rest in that awareness, thoughts may come and go. Let them. You are not required to chase or fix them. Imagine yourself sitting by a stream, watching leaves drift by. Each leaf is a thought, a memory, a concern. You do not need to stop the stream, you simply observe. Eventually, the water clears, and what remains is peace. Healing happens in these moments, not when you force it, but when you stop interfering. The energy that creates worlds does not need your micromanagement, it needs your openness. When you rest, life works through you with ease. Inspiration returns. Solutions arise without effort. This is the quiet magic of stillness. Frantic self-improvement can easily become another form of self-rejection. When you believe that who you are today is not enough, every act of healing becomes an act of judgment. But when you approach healing as an act of love, everything softens. You no longer chase peace, you nurture it. You no longer fix yourself, you care for yourself. Try this affirmation: I am willing to rest in love. Repeat it until you feel its truth. Healing is not about doing more, it is about doing less, with greater awareness. Rest is not laziness, it is respect for life's rhythm. When you stop pushing, you align with the divine timing of your own unfolding. Think of nature. The tree does not strain to grow. It simply allows the sap to rise when the season calls. The flower does not force itself to bloom. It opens when touched by sunlight. You too are a part of that same rhythm. You do not need to push yourself toward wholeness. You need only to remove the resistance that keeps you from it. Stillness is the sacred space where the soul remembers its strength. In quiet, you realize that you are already being carried by something far greater than yourself. You are not the one keeping your heart beating or your breath moving. Life is. And if life can do that, it can certainly heal your pain. So, my dear, let today be the day you stop running. Stop measuring your worth by your activity. Stop trying to earn what has always belonged to you. Sit down, breathe, and let yourself be loved by the stillness. Healing does not happen in the noise of doing, it happens in the silence of being. When you let go of striving, peace will find you. When you stop trying to become, you will remember that you already are. And in that remembering, healing becomes inevitable. The past is not what hurts you, it is your continued attachment to it. The pain you feel is not from what happened, it is from holding it in your hands long after it asks to be released. We cannot live freely while dragging the weight of yesterday. Life moves forward in every heartbeat, but if your mind is turned backward, you cannot feel its rhythm. Peace is found only in the present, and to live here fully, you must make peace with what came before. For many people, the past feels like a shadow that follows them, no matter how far they walk. Memories of betrayal, loss, disappointment, and grief arise and replay again and again. Each time they surface, the body responds as though the event were happening now. The heart tightens, the breath shortens, the muscles prepare for defense. The nervous system does not know the difference between memory and moment. It only knows whether you feel safe. When you forgive, you tell your body, we are safe now. And the body, relieved at last, begins to relax. Forgiveness is not about forgetting or approving of what was wrong. It is about releasing the grip the past has on your present. When you hold anger, resentment, or grief for too long, they become part of your identity. You begin to define yourself by the wound instead of the wisdom it offered. Every thought of blame keeps the wound alive. The only cure is understanding, and understanding begins with compassion. Louise used to say, "We are all victims of victims. Those who hurt you were also in pain, acting from the limits of their own consciousness." This truth does not excuse cruelty, but it explains it. Once you understand that everyone is doing the best they can from their level of awareness, you stop taking their actions personally. The moment you say you too were lost in fear, you reclaim your freedom. Your mind might resist this at first. It will say, "But they don't deserve forgiveness." And perhaps they do not. But you deserve peace. You are not freeing them, you are freeing yourself. Unforgiveness is like drinking poison and expecting another to die. Each time you replay the story, you feed it energy. Each time you forgive, you drain its power. Imagine your past as a vast field you have walked across, leaving footprints behind you. Those footprints do not need to be erased. They are part of your story, but they no longer control where you walk today. The field is wide, the sky is open, and there is still more beauty ahead. You honor the journey not by staring at your footprints, but by continuing to walk. To make peace with your past, you must be willing to look at it honestly, but without judgment. Sit quietly and call to mind the people or situations that still bring pain. Let each one appear before you in your imagination. Then say softly, "I release you and set myself free." You are not saying they were right. You are saying you will not carry them any longer. Each release unties another knot in your energy, another chain from your heart. If you find this difficult, imagine the person or event surrounded by light. See that light growing brighter until it fills your vision. Whisper, "I send you love and bless your journey." Feel how the heaviness begins to lift. Forgiveness is not a single act, but a process of remembering that love is stronger than resentment. It does not happen all at once. Some memories will release easily, others will take time. Be patient. Every act of willingness creates movement. There may also be someone else you need to forgive you. The most persistent pain comes from our own regret. We punish ourselves for not knowing, for staying too long, for trusting the wrong people, for saying too little or too much. But you were doing the best you could with what you knew then. How could you have done differently without the wisdom you have now? Self-forgiveness is not indulgence, it is evolution. It means acknowledging the innocence that existed even within your mistakes. Try saying this in your heart. "I forgive myself for all the ways I did not yet know how to love." Feel how those words soften the inner walls. Forgiving yourself allows the child within you to rest. It tells your body you can let go of vigilance now. We are no longer in danger. When the mind and body receive that message, healing becomes natural. Gratitude is one of the highest forms of forgiveness. It transforms the memory without denying the experience. When you can say, "I am thankful for what it taught me," the story loses its sting. Every painful chapter contained a lesson that led you here to deeper understanding, greater empathy, and more compassion. Gratitude turns pain into wisdom. You might not yet feel grateful for everything that happened. That is all right. Gratitude is not forced, it is discovered. Start small. Find one thing, even within the hurt, that shaped you for the better. Maybe it made you stronger, more patient, more tender. As you recognize these gifts, the past begins to change its color. What was once a wound becomes a teacher. The peace that follows forgiveness is not dramatic, it is steady, like sunlight returning after a storm. One morning, you will wake and realize that the memory that once ruled you no longer stings. It may still exist, but it no longer defines you. The chain has fallen away. The space it leaves behind is where new life enters. Forgiveness is not weakness, it is the ultimate act of self-respect. It says, "I am worthy of peace." You are not required to wait for an apology. You do not need to reconcile with those who cannot meet you in truth. Forgiveness is done within your own heart, in private, as an offering to your own freedom. Say quietly to yourself, I no longer carry yesterday into today. I release everyone and everything that no longer serves my peace. I am free to live now. Repeat these words. Whenever you feel the past pulling at you, each repetition strengthens your choice to live in the present. Remember, you cannot reach tomorrow if you keep walking backward. Life is always inviting you forward to a softer, brighter, freer version of yourself. The past does not define you. It prepared you. It showed you what needed healing so that you could finally come home to love. So breathe deeply now. Let the memories rise, and as they do, bless them for their service. Whisper gently, thank you for the lesson. I release you with love. Feel the peace that follows, spreading through your chest, your throat, your shoulders. That peace is proof that forgiveness is working. The moment you stop fighting with your past, your energy returns to the present. And here in this fresh, unburdened moment, healing begins to take root again. Because when the heart forgives, the soul remembers what it always knew. You were never trapped in the story. You were only waiting to set yourself free. Every child begins life knowing love as their natural state. Before words, before fears, before the world-taught conditions, a baby simply is love. She cries and someone comes. She smiles and the world softens. There is no thought of earning, deserving, or proving. Love just is. But somewhere along the way, we begin to forget. We start to believe that love lives outside of us, that it must be given, kept, and protected. And from that moment of forgetting, the search begins a lifelong seeking for what was never lost. So many people spend their lives trying to be worthy of love. They chase approval from parents, praise from teachers, affection from partners, recognition from friends. Every relationship becomes a mirror reflecting either validation or rejection. And when that mirror cracks, when someone withdraws, disappoints, or leaves, it feels as though love itself has disappeared. But love cannot leave because it does not live out there. It lives in you. It always has. When you depend on others to define your worth, your peace rises and falls with their moods, their choices, their attention. That is not love. That is dependency. You hand over the keys to your happiness and wait for someone else to open the door. True healing begins the moment you take those keys back and remember that the door was never locked. You are not waiting for love to arrive. Love has been waiting for you to recognize it within yourself. The reason you are still in pain, dear one, is not because you lack love. It is because you have been searching in all the wrong places. You have tried to fill the emptiness with approval, achievements, relationships, distractions. But nothing external can fill what was meant to flow from within. When you love yourself, that inner well begins to overflow. Then, when love comes from others, it adds sweetness, not survival. Let us speak gently about the difference between loneliness and aloneness. Loneliness says, no one loves me. Aloneness says, I am loved wherever I am. Loneliness is emptiness. Aloneness is wholeness. Loneliness feels like a hole that must be filled. Aloneness feels like a space where peace can breathe. When you are at home in your own presence, solitude becomes sacred. You stop fearing the quiet because you have learned that it is filled with your own light. Self-love is not vanity, it is sanity. It is the root of all healing, for it tells the mind and body, I am safe to exist. The body relaxes under self-approval. The nervous system settles. The heart opens. This is not selfishness. It is self-nourishment. When you love yourself, you teach others how to love you. When you approve of yourself, you no longer beg for validation. When you honor yourself, you naturally draw relationships that honor you too. Look into your mirror. Meet your own eyes. Notice how strange it may feel to gaze at yourself with kindness. You may be accustomed to judgment, to glancing quickly away. Stay there. Take a breath. Whisper softly, I am enough, and I am my own source of love. Let the words feel awkward or tender. It does not matter. What matters is that you say them. For every repetition begins to teach your mind a new truth. You might remember times when you gave your heart freely and were hurt. The mind says, I must protect myself. I will not love again until it is safe. But the safety you long for cannot come from another person. It begins within you. When you create safety inside your own heart, you can open again without fear. You are no longer at the mercy of another's behavior. You love because it is your nature, not because you expect reward. Each morning, practice this simple affirmation. The love I have been seeking has always been within me. Say it slowly. Feel how it begins to warm your chest, how your breath softens as you repeat it. The mind may argue, but the body knows truth when it hears it. The more you say it, the more your energy begins to change. You start walking through the world not as someone who begs for love, but as someone who brings it. There is a wonderful paradox that happens. When you stop chasing love, you become magnetic to it. People are drawn to those who are at peace with themselves because self-acceptance radiates safety. You no longer need to impress, perform, or please. You simply exist, and that existence says, it is good to be me. This quiet confidence invites genuine connection, for love always recognizes itself. Remember this truth. What you think you want from others, you must first give to yourself. Do you long to be seen? See yourself. Do you wish to be understood? Listen to yourself. Do you crave affection? Place your hand on your heart and offer warmth to the one who has always been with you. Every act of self-love teaches the universe how to love you in return. As you build this relationship with yourself, your outer relationships will shift naturally. Those based on need may fall away. Those grounded in truth will deepen. Do not mourn the old dynamics. They were built on misunderstanding. You are no longer seeking rescue. You are standing in your own light. And those who are meant to walk beside you will recognize that light and reflect it back to you. When you stop looking outward for what was meant to arise inward, your energy returns to you. You feel whole again. You realize that you are not half of a heart waiting for completion. You are the entire heart pulsing with the love that created you. From that fullness, you can share without depletion, give without fear, and receive without guilt. Love is not something you earn. It is the truth of your being. Every time you say, I love myself, you are not adding something new. You are remembering something eternal. That remembrance heals more than any technique or treatment ever could. It restores you to alignment with life itself. So, let us end this part with a small ritual. Sit quietly for a moment, place your hand over your heart, close your eyes, and breathe gently. Whisper these words, I am the love I have been waiting for. I am safe to rest in my own affection. Life loves me, and I love life in return. Feel those words travel through you like sunlight, warming the cells. You may feel tears, tingling, or stillness. All are signs of awakening. You are beginning to come home to yourself. Remember, the love you seek was never missing. It was simply waiting for your attention. And once you return to it, every wound, every emptiness, every ache begins to dissolve. Because what pain cannot survive in the presence of love? And now, dear one, you are ready for the final truth. There is no greater illusion in this world than the belief that you are powerless. You may have repeated it to yourself for years. I can't, it's too late, I've tried everything. These words do not describe reality. They describe forgetfulness. You have simply forgotten who you are and what you are made of. Beneath every fear, beneath every doubt, the truth remains untouched. You are a creation of life itself. And life is powerful beyond measure. The same energy that formed mountains and oceans, that keeps planets in their rhythm and hearts in their beating, that same intelligence is breathing you right now. It does not sleep, it does not abandon, it does not fail. It is the essence of your being, and it never left you. You have simply been distracted by noise, by old beliefs, by the world's teachings, by voices that said, you are small, but your soul has never believed those words. When you were a child, you knew your power. You sang without shame, dreamed without limit, loved without hesitation. You believed in magic because you were magic. Over time, the world taught you to doubt that freedom. You learned to trade wonder for worry, spontaneity for caution, self-expression for approval. But the divine spark within you was never extinguished. It only went quiet. Now it calls you home to remember. The truth is that you are the thinker of your thoughts, and every thought is creative. The body obeys your thinking, the mind obeys your beliefs, and life itself responds to your vibration. When you choose thoughts of fear, you create barriers. When you choose thoughts of love, you create flow. You are never a victim of circumstance. You are a participant in creation, and every moment is an invitation to think again. You may ask, if I am so powerful, why do I still suffer? Because power without awareness becomes misdirection. You have been using your power unconsciously, creating from fear instead of faith. The moment you awaken to this, everything changes. You stop saying, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what thought in me is creating this? That single shift from blame to awareness transforms pain into wisdom. The power that heals, the power that guides, the power that renews it all flows through you the instant you align your thoughts with love. Every time you say, I am willing to love myself, you open the channel wider. Love is the current that carries your intentions to the realm of form. It is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. When you speak words of love, you are not just comforting yourself, you are commanding creation. Remember that true power is not force. Force demands, resists, and struggles. Power allows, trusts, and flows. Control contracts, faith expands. The more you relax into trust, the more effortlessly life moves to support you. When you release the need to manage every detail, divine intelligence takes over. That is not passivity, it is partnership. You are not giving up control, you are remembering that you were never meant to carry it alone. Say to yourself now, softly but with conviction, I am the thinker of my thoughts and I choose healing now. Feel how those words expand through your chest. You may feel warmth, tingling, or calm. That is power returning to its rightful place within you. This is not arrogance, it is remembrance. The child of life cannot be powerless within life. Your thoughts are the commands by which creation moves. Each time you think with love, you instruct your cells to harmonize, your relationships to balance, your world to reflect peace. This is not imagination, it is spiritual law. The outer world always follows the inner one. The moment you decide, I am safe, guided, and whole, life rushes to confirm it. Try this simple visualization. Close your eyes and picture yourself surrounded by soft, golden light. It radiates from your heart and expands outward until it fills the space around you. Feel its warmth wrapping you in peace. Say quietly, I am surrounded by light. I am safe and guided. The mind may resist at first, but the body will recognize truth. That light is not fantasy, it is energy, the same energy that flows through everything that lives. Understand this deeply. Healing is not a privilege given to a chosen few. It is your birthright as an expression of life. You were born with the power to renew, to restore, to reimagine your entire existence. Every cell of your being is designed for growth. The body is not against you. It is always moving toward balance. When you align your thoughts with love, you align with that natural direction. Healing then becomes not a miracle, but a return to order. Many people believe they have lost their power because others took it away. But power cannot be stolen. It can only be forgotten. When you forgive those who seem to hurt you, you are not giving them anything. You are reclaiming yourself. Each act of forgiveness gathers scattered energy and brings it home. Each moment of self-approval strengthens your foundation. Each word of gratitude multiplies your good. True power is quiet. It does not need to shout. It does not compete. It simply knows. It says all is well even before the evidence appears. And because it knows, the evidence arrives. This is the mystery of faith, not waiting for proof, but creating it. The mind will say, I'll believe it when I see it. Love says, I'll see it when I believe it. So often people pray for strength without realizing that strength is already theirs. You do not need to gather it. You need to remember it. Sit quietly and feel the life moving through your veins, the breath entering and leaving without command. That is strength. That is power. You are sustained by something infinite. When you trust that, fear dissolves like mist in the morning light. The more you practice love, the more this power reveals itself. Love makes you courageous because it erases the illusion of separation. You begin to see that you are not alone. You are connected to everything that exists. The same life that heals a wound in your skin grows flowers in the fields. When you remember that you are part of that vast intelligence, you stop doubting your ability to heal. Now take a deep breath and repeat after me. I am willing to love myself. I am safe. I am guided. Life flows through me effortlessly. Let these words become your daily rhythm. With each repetition, you strengthen the truth that has always been yours. Before we close, I want you to feel something profound. Place your hand over your heart. Feel that steady beat. You are not controlling it. You are not reminding it to continue. It beats because life wills it. It beats because you are meant to be here. That same intelligence that keeps your heart alive knows exactly how to heal you. All it needs is your cooperation, your willingness to believe again. Let your next breath be an act of surrender and your exhale an act of faith. Whisper softly, I am willing to believe in my power again. I am willing to remember who I am. And as you say it, know this. The healing you have sought outside yourself has been within you all along. You were never broken. You were never separate. You were simply waiting to remember your own divine strength. So let us end here, not in striving, but in stillness. Breathe in peace. Breathe out gratitude. Feel the energy of love pulsing quietly through every cell, every thought, every heartbeat. This is your true nature, calm, radiant, powerful, beyond measure. Love is the force that heals all things, and you, dear one, are that love in motion.